Hey traders, how you doing? This is my second take at this. Having technical difficulties. So what are we doing? Looks like price is coming off. I don't even know what I was thinking about. I had this mapped out, just mapping out my chart. You know, we're looking for price action that does something like this, right? That's what we're looking for. This is the essence of how this market moves. And we are trying to, you know, figure out the direction, figure out see, that's it, right? Um, the direction, what gets us in and what gets us out, and how we can, make money. So this is just, I can just do this over and over and over again. This is just the basic shape of how the market moves over time. It expands, it contracts, it does all this really boring stuff. But once you understand all these things, you can now go into a market and see how, see all the different shapes, all the different sizes, all this stuff is different. So I can sit back and say, okay, this is what I'm looking for, right? And we're 3-to-1 traders. So when we're looking at a chart and we're looking to uh, get in on a trade, get out on a trade, we are looking for a couple of things. We're looking for an impulse leg, right? An impulse leg gives us, we're not involved in the impulse leg. We're watching, unless you're in a trade, and then you're just riding it out. And then price comes back to make a shelf, floats around, it creates a wash. It comes down and tests the low, and then it comes back to the shelf and then continues on. Now, the shelf can be, a couple of spots here. It could be down here, right? You've got a little spot here, a couple of things here. I just drew it up here. Some are deeper, some are more, whatever. But the wash has this hard up, hard down. And this one has a hard up, but it doesn't have a hard down. So it's not really a wash. It's kind of a hard up with a blah, 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 blah. And then this one kind of takes off with a lot more energy, and then it spikes up, does this thing, does a little one here too, another spike, reaches up as high as it can, and then it comes back down. This now gives us the ability to hide behind this guy, right? Put orders behind this guy. We get deep into the pivot, and it gives us a 3-to-1 trade to exit on it. Now, you can get out down here. You can try for lower lows, however you want to run your business. But this gives you a couple of things. One, it gives you ability to manage it. You can now move to break even as price goes in your direction. You can take a 1-to-1 trade, a 2-to-1 trade, a 3-to-1 trade, a 4-to-1 trade. The reason why we focus on 3-to-1 trades is because our winning percentage is not that great. Our winning percentage is right around 30 to 40%, which isn't great, and nobody wants to hear about it, right? Nobody, what's your winning percentage? Yeah, that sucks. Oh, you know. And I argue that most day traders don't have a very strong winning percentage. So you're better off just learning how to, um, see the impulse leg and draw up your shelf so that when you see the opportunity, you can get involved with it, right? Now, every one of these is going to be different. Everyone's going to have a different flavor to it, but they all have the same characteristics, right? They all have the same characteristics. Oops, sorry. Here. Now, why is this one a trade? Because it impulse takes off to test the high. It doesn't come back down lower. I mean, you can even come up here and say, I want to do this one here. But you know what? In hindsight, this one got wiped out. right? Put an order there, wiped out. This one here lands right on it, tries again. Now you can manage. Now you can manage, right? Here's yesterday's. Did we trade yesterday? No, I did trade yesterday. Um, so I run the 2000 tick because I want to have a perspective. I'm not changing time frames. I'm just aware of where things are at in the process. How's that? Right? We got a kill zone down here. We got a pressure cooker up here. We got a new swing here. So now, how do I manage that? How do I, right now in this frame right here, price is going up, right? Price is making higher highs and it's trying to go up here, but it's holding on right here. We know that price is down on the big time frame. So we're not trading that, but we're just kind of like, as a guide, we're like, okay, if you're hiking the Grand Canyon, we're going down right now. We're not going up. We're going down. And there's going to be all kinds of things along the way. So you have to put it in perspective. And then when I get into the nitty gritty of what I'm going to do for the day, I can get in here real close and I can say, oh, I've got an impulse down here. And I can say, oh, I've got a shelf right across here. Right? See this little bump, and then I start throwing in all my stuff. I put in my, come on, cancel. I put in my, I'm just hitting the wrong ones here. I put in my my kill zone. Kill zones are pretty popular now because you're getting killed. And some people call it what do you call it? Support or resistance. I always get confused, so I just, So here it is. Here's it is. Why this works is it's universal for every chart because every chart has to move in the same format. It's like an inchworm, right? It's an inchworm. You have your impulse, your pullback, your tag, doom, 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 right? And then you can just draw it right across there. And that gives us the entry that we're looking for, right? So we have an impulse down. We have a shelf, a tiny little shelf. And yeah, we're kind of, we're not making anything up, but it's just not a clear cut shelf. And then we have a hard bar up and a hard bar down, giving us this wash in this scenario. And then price hits the low and it bounces right here. We can hide behind this, right? To make money, to make a living, to give you everything you want to have. You don't want to go to have a job? Great. Learn this setup. Master it. Come on. I struggle with it. I'm not the best, but I'm still making money, right? I'm not, sitting here trying to figure out how am I going to get long and short and blah, 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 blah. Guys, unless you're moving big cheddar, you're just a little guy like me, right? You're not, what do it's the challenge that we have as traders is that we want to get rich tomorrow. And the thing is that when you make money, you get rich tomorrow, you're poor the next day. You know why? Because you're going to have a crap day and you need to manage your money right. And you're going to end up like trying to figure out, well, geez, I want to get my money back. And then you start doing crazy things. How do I know this? Because I did it. I mean, I've made some really good money in this business and I've lost it all too, and I've had to come back to a point where it's like, I understand this and I want to be here for a long time, but I've got to manage it in a certain way. I took 2 trades yesterday. My first one was a loser. The second one was a winner, but I didn't, I came out at basically break even. I can't load up on this 100% with all the dough I have. I mean, if I could, I would. Everybody would. So just, keep yourself grounded that way. Hold on, let me see if I can find my trade from yesterday. Let me see what I can find. Too much stuff going on. All right, where am I at? Hold up. What time was that at? 9 o'clock. Okay. So yesterday I had a little bit of time, more time than I did the other day. Yeah, this is what happened. This is what happened. Again, impulse, right? So I'm just watching this thing take off. I'm not doing anything other than watching. And then I have this weird thing here, and then I just happen to say I see this little guy here pull off from that there. Okay, you good? So I've got my pressure cooker here, and I just like to. I don't color them when I'm trading. Color them for you guys because you're special. And then I've got my box here, right? I got a hard down here, a hard up right here. So I'm not trading yet. I'm mapping it out, right? And this is the beauty of this thing because you're not committed to. Oh, I've got to get into this now. I got to do this now. I got to do that now. You're just chilling out, right? Step 1, impulse. Step 2, shelf, right? That's a shelf, right? There's no shelf in here. There's no, and if you think a shelf up here is where you're going about, you're buying into sellers. So just clear that up. And I've got this funky little thing that I drew up right here. I just, it catches my eye. Like that could be a stop. And as stops go. So now I'm like, okay, well, and I didn't want to. Actually, it stops go. It does, but in hindsight, it works. But in real time, I was like, I don't know if I'm really, it wasn't giving me. And then I saw this thing take off, right? And then I put orders down here. Now, as price took off to make a newer to make the impulse, I saw my opportunity again. I'm trying to figure out how this worked out because I wasn't on that bar and I wasn't on that bar. How the hell did I get into this thing? I think this is what I did. I know this is what I did. I did it again. I just kept following it up. Okay, so here's what happened. I'm in here behind this thing, right? Impulse leg, shelf, the whole thing. We're not making this up now. We're right here. We're right here. I got long there. And I'm just stuck. Where did I go? Oh, this is why my notes are terrible. Hold on a second. I'm pretty sure that's where I got in. But I didn't get, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. Ba, 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 ba. I saw that bar come down because we have news coming out this week too. Da, 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 da. Where did I go? How did I do that? I don't know where I was. I've got these notes right here. I've got my orders in. I've got my orders just resting, and then I did something. I may have gotten in on that No, I didn't get in on that one. Where am I at? I didn't get in on that one because that took off. Oh man, bummer. I can't remember. Anyhow, uh, God, that blows my whole thing now. God, what happened yesterday? See how you have to take these notes? You have to take really good notes. Take really good notes. I know it's so I think what I did yes. Okay. All right, back up. Back up. Back up. Can I stop that whole thing? I don't edit these, so I just whatever. So my order was here. Let's stop right there. And this had gone up and it pulled back and it just wiped me out really quick. That's what happened there. Okay, now I'm good. All right. Because what I did on the other side of it was I saw that this had got wiped out. Right? This piece here. So this guy here took out this guy here. All this stuff here. And my cute little idea was there. And technically, yeah, could have, but you know what? Reality, no. But what I could do is I turned around on the backside, and this is where I sold it on the backside. And then I wasn't very brave uh, in my holding on to this because I just wasn't sure. It's going up, so I'm like, maybe it found something in here. And so as price made its low down into here, uh, I got out like on here, and I got a 1-to-1 trade, which made up for this trade here that lost there. But it's the same thing, right? It's and which is cool because now, as I see price and as I understand some things about price, I'm now in a position to trade the other side, right? Because we have a hard up here, we have a hard down here. So here's a wash, right? And it just so happened that this pulled right back into the wash, right? So we have this impulse down, and I cheated on this one because look how it broke, right? It just still gave me a stop, it still gave me something to hide behind, and really that's one of the things we're going to look for. But if you're gonna kind of run out there and do some of this stuff, you need to know where you're getting out. So that's how I did that, and it was a little bit lower than that. As price came down, I ran into this pressure cooker or this kill zone, and then it toiled, and then it came back. If I would have left it, it would have been fine. Um, for a variety of reasons, I took my money and left. Usually I'm better than that, but hey, that's the lesson. So it came down here and it came down here. Um, see this impulse here? Does it give us a shelf? Does it give us anything that we're looking for? Because this is this kind of stuff. These are the trades that I don't know what my numbers are entirely on the take of it all, how many they actually hit and how many they don't. But right, we have a hard up here, we have a hard down there. So that's a wash, right? That clears that's qualifies as one of our washes. So I'm down with that. And if you come across here, you say, okay, there's a shelf, but that's not really a wash. So if you come down a little more and come down a little more, maybe it's like right in here. But see how it works, how it's set up the same way, right? It bounces off of here and then it gives you that opportunity to come behind it and, catch a little trade there at the end of the day. So by understanding this stuff, I'm just able to see these trades show up because now you have another impulse leg. Now I've cut out a lot of the nonsense, maybe right or wrong, but at least I've got a plan to how I'm following this, right? And this looks like our setup that we saw before, right? You have an impulse down, we have a shelf here, right? And then we have a wash right there, kill zone, right? Price comes back up. Now maybe you got caught on this here, right? But if you're doing that, you're stop right there. See this thing right here? See this right here? If you're using this as your wash, right? You're not wrong. I'm not saying this is a terribly bad idea. You have a hard up, hard down, and it bounces around, and it gives you another one. Don't put your stop right there. Put your stop above that guy right there, and you still may have got clipped, which is the tough part of trading. Sometimes it just there's other things going on. But like let's say you get back behind here, you're you cleared here. Here's your shelf. You're up like here. Now it doesn't work out, but you can manage this trade, right? You can bring your orders down. See hard down. It runs into this guy here because it's going to bounce around when it hits this guy. It's either going to slice through really fast like this, or it's going to bounce around. And that's one of the reasons why I draw this front one here, because see how I don't know if you see it. See how it's hard down, and then it bounces and bounces and bounces, and it tries, and then it pulls back up. You can just sit there like this one here, right? It slams down, but it doesn't take out this piece here. It slams down, doesn't take out this piece here. So it's just and then it kind of bounces around here, and then so yeah, I'm going to be here with my orders. Maybe I'm down here. I know that price is fluctuating. It's the end of the day. If I'm short there, maybe I'm just sitting behind these things waiting for that thing to get stopped out. Lots of different ways to trade it. Lots of different ways. Right? So, and then this big ugly thing is just doing this stuff here. Got my hand over my mouth. Where am I at? So it's just doing this big ugly thing here. I can't imagine today's going to be, Trump's got his tariffs going on. So, but this is what it did, right in here. Right? This is just little bloop bloop. The idea is to know what your setup is and what gets you in and what gets you out. If you have that under control, this business is you're on the right side. You just now have to iron out all the different things that you're doing to get yourself profitable, because there's examples everywhere. Right? Look at that. And yeah, I used hindsight. I might, maybe I'm here, right? Maybe I'm here because I see a shelf. Price doesn't come all the way down. But then I just take the impulse of the next one, right? And then you can, maybe it doesn't work. I don't know. It's got a nice little shelf to it. I don't know if I would have caught that one. Yeah. Anyhow, but the theory's right? It just didn't come down far enough. If you're up here, then maybe you got one. Impulse up, right? Price stops. There's your shelf, right? Doesn't take it. Price pulls back into the pressure cooker, right? The pressure cooker price bounces around, right? That's why it's a pressure cooker, right? It gets up here, the pressure, and then it pops. And maybe you catch that third one. I don't know. Depends how good you are at this stuff. I'm not the greatest. I make mistakes all the time. I got clobbered on this silly idea, right? But in fairness, it's at the top of the swing, right? It's the top of the swing, so we've already broken this piece. So whatever that means. Does a little double top, and now it's coming off. I don't know. What more do you want from this thing? Anyhow, it's about 6:30. No, it is 6:30. Market just opened. We're not trading for an hour. There's news coming out, I think. Is today the news day or is it another day? Let's see here. Got news. Today's Wednesday, 7:30. Yeah, there's one Thursday. I thought there was news coming out somewhere at 7 on one of these days. Oh, that was yesterday. Yeah, yeah, that big bar that we saw that popped out. So I don't really see much, but at the end of the week we got a bunch of news coming out. But that's 5:30, so we're not trading at that time anyways. That news that we saw yesterday was right there. This big bar here just dropped them down. Didn't have didn't didn't have too much of an effect. So anyhow, I wish I would have held on and not moved my trade, move my stop, But that's how it goes. It's business, and there's times that I'm ready to go. There's times that I got to just hold back, and that's knowing yourself and understanding yourself. I'm not blowing myself up to try and get something done that I just, because I'm impulsive now, right? It's a terrible way to trade. Terrible way to trade impulse. You want to trade the impulse. You don't want to be the impulse. Because really, at the end of the day, that one doesn't come all the way down. But see, what are we talking about when I started out, right? Boom, boom, boom. That's what we're looking for over and over and over again. They're everywhere. That's it. That's how the market moves. Understand that. Understand how to trade. All right. Talk to you later.